Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Hi, I'm Lisa Twilley. I'm the director of the Women's Business Center here at Maryland Capital Enterprises. And just to give you a little information about what we do, Maryland MCE or Maryland Capital Enterprises is a nonprofit, and we're based here in Salisbury with an office in Baltimore as well. We serve all the Eastern Shore of Maryland, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. We do business consulting, marketing consulting, training workshops such as this, and we also do micro and small business loans. Today we have Nick Rudolph, who is our Baltimore Regional Director of MCE, and Donna Langley, who is our Baltimore WBC consultant. And she's here. They're both going to talk to us a little bit today about business plan and cash flows. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to put my contact information in the chat in case you need anything from me or the Women's Business Center. Please reach out, and Donna will give you a little more information about some other upcoming classes we have later. All right, Nick.
All righty. Well, I'll go ahead and start off by introducing myself while Donna gets the PowerPoint up. I'm Nick Rudolph, the Regional Director with Maryland Capital Enterprises. I love working with clients for providing technical assistance and helping you all get some financing, which is what we're going to talk about today. I came to MCE after working with Main Street programs, so working directly in historic commercial districts, and I also have a background in restaurant, both front and back of house and management. So Donna, go ahead and take it away.
Well, hello. Nick and I would love to welcome you to our webinar on business plans and cash flow projections. I know you're excited about them. I love doing them. So thank you for choosing to be here. I just want to really make sure that I said that, because you could be in a lot of different places. And I know as business owners, many of you are pulled in different directions. So thank you very much. By the end of this webinar, we hope you'll understand more about business plans and cash flow projections, how and why they are important to the loan process and to your business, increase your confidence in creating both documents, and have next steps and resources to get you started. As I said, my name is Donna Langley. I'm the coordinator for the Baltimore Women's Business Center. Prior to my gig here, I was the director of Baltimore Main Streets at the Baltimore Development Corporation for many years, working in neighborhoods in Baltimore City with small businesses. We represented about over 2,000 small businesses throughout the city. And prior to that, I worked for state government, working with volunteer programs. So I'm really excited to be here now at MCE. I think before we get started with the meat and potatoes of this presentation, we'll go over just a quick background about MCE, just say a little bit more and build on what Lisa just shared with you. And I wanted to say you'll also receive a copy of this PowerPoint presentation. And we have free downloads of our business plan and cash flow projections template on our website, or you can just email either Nick or myself, and we'll be happy to get a copy to you. We'll have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation, but also feel free to ask us questions as we go along during the presentation. Nick and I are very laid back, so don't hesitate to ask any questions at all. So I guess to get started, we'll just say briefly a little bit about MCE. We've been operating for over 19 years on the Eastern Shore, and in 2012, as Lisa was sharing, we added our additional services of Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. In 2020, we did receive our designation from the SBA to have women business centers in both Salisbury and Baltimore. We are a nonprofit community development financial institution, or you'll frequently hear CDFI as a term, and Small Business Administration approved lender. We do micro lending for both new and existing small businesses that are registered in our service areas only. And again, that is the Eastern Shore, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel County. And I'll tell you a little bit more about those loans in a bit. We also do free technical assistance, which is truly at the heart of what we do. And that is everything from assisting with the creation of business plans or cash flow projections to identifying consultants for you, and also free webinars on a wide variety of small business topics, everything from how to renegotiate your lease during a pandemic to basic business finance. And so you can find more information about those and register, and more information about us on either one of our websites here, both our main website at marylandcapital.org or our Women's Business Center website listed here. It's also important to note that we hold, as a microlender, we hold these certifications. And what that means to you is that we have several different pots of money that we can pull from that allow us to ensure the goodness of fit for your business and also get you the best terms that we can access for you. And I know everyone is, a lot of people are really concerned about the money and our lending that we do. But I just want to remind everyone that we do have, that we truly here to assist businesses with all of their needs and as they get started or as they expand. We simply want you to be as strong and to put your best foot forward as you can be, and build our communities, which is really what we're all about. And that's why we offer the free technical assistance that we do. Okay, a little bit about our small business lending. We do micro lending in amounts ranging from $5,000 to $150,000. For new businesses, our range is from $5,000 to $35,000. But if you're expanding your business, we can go all the way up to $150,000. Your terms can be anywhere from 1 to 10 years. Typically, the loan size is what dictates the term of your loan. So a larger loan is going to be a longer term. So for example, if you had a $150,000 loan, that term would be 10 years. $35,000 loan is typically anywhere from 3 to 5 years. Our interest rates are currently set at 6 to 12%, but I will also say that in my tenure that I've been here, I typically, or I generally only see interest rates around the 7 to 9%. And I think Nick, you've also seen similar interest rates.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, great. We do require collateral up to the value of our loans for most of our loans. And I'll talk a little bit more about collateral, but we will generally consider a lot of different things as collateral. Everything from equity in real estate or vehicles to even inventory or equipment that you may own. If you don't think you have collateral, please talk to either Nick or myself or another member of the MCE staff. We'd love to talk it through with you and see what creative ways we can come up with that requirement. All business owners with 20% or more interest must personally guarantee the loan. And this is a personal guaranteed loan. That's important to note. It will go on your personal credit report, not your business credit report. We have application fees that are paid up front, and that is a $15 flat credit report check fee per owner. So if there's 2 owners in the business, you would pay 2 of those $15 fees. And then there's an application fee of $100 that's paid up front. We also have a 1% closing fee and a legal reserve fee that's based on your loan amount and can be deducted from your loan proceeds. So one of the things that we do, we encourage is that if you do need a certain set amount of walking away money, like you must have $50,000 when you walk out the door, you should consider requesting a loan that's a little bit over that to cover the closing fees and the legal reserve fees for you. We also need an automatic debit required for all loans from a business checking account. So if you don't have a business checking account, you will need to set one up before closing on any approved loans. There are no penalties for prepayment, which is really exciting. Basically, you can pay off the loan anytime you want, which is fantastic for us because that means that we can now lend that money out to more small businesses that need our loan products. We do have semi-annual site visits, but I'd like to say just a little bit about that. Our relationship does not end once you receive the funding. We really like to work with each of you to develop that relationship and help build your business to be as strong as possible. So we will work with you by checking in and offering resources to strengthen your business and to share information both ways. It won't be all one-sided. And hopefully we'll overcome any challenges that you may have along the way before they even begin. So we really, really do like to have a nice relationship with each one of our clients. And sample loan uses really are pretty much most business expenses that you can think of. They can be a mortgage, they can be on a commercial space, they can be rent, they can be any type of equipment that you would need, such as a point of sale system or build out of a space as well. And then working capital, anything from pens and paper to paying for salaries, either for yourself or for staff. Really any type of loan use that you can think of, please feel free to talk over with us. And we'll be happy to discuss that further with each of you. It is important to note that we typically don't fund sin industries. So for example, that would be something like adult bookstores or like medical marijuana. Are there any questions so far?
Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
Yes.
My name is Janet. I do have a question. You said that there was two fees that you're charged for, the application fee and $100. Is that the application fee also?
There's
Or
two fees. The credit check fee, which is $15, and that's to pull your credit report. And then the $100 application fee.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. We also have another loan that we're pretty proud of called the Credit Builder Loan. And that runs anywhere from $500 to $5,000. And typically we see this loan is interesting for three different groups of people. So one, somebody trying to build their credit. They don't have the strongest credit yet, and they're looking to get some kind of loan to start their business. And this is a good place for them to start. Secondly, someone who needs the money very quickly, because we can tend to close these loans very quickly, more quickly than our standard loans, which that process could go on for a couple of months as you're pulling together all your paperwork. This doesn't have the same paperwork requirements. It's less so. And it's also an internal review process, which means if you need the money, say, for example, a pipe burst in your business and you need the money very quickly, this might be a loan that you'd want to consider. And then also for somebody who, say, in Baltimore, we like to say they have a side hustle that they want to see if, they want to dip their toe in the water and see what sticks. And they don't want to take out a larger loan yet. They want to start off somewhere small, or their needs may be smaller, and just want to try something out. And this may be the perfect loan for them. In this case, the term is 1 to 2 years. Again, the larger the loan, the longer your term will be. The interest rate for this is flat. It's set at 9% for everyone. We don't require collateral for this loan. It is encouraged, which will strengthen your application overall, but it is not required. It has the same personal guarantee, so it will be on your personal credit, and any owners with 20% or more interest in the business must personally guarantee the loan. The application fee is smaller. It is $50 in this case. And again, it's the same $15 credit check report fee per owner, and those things are paid up front. The closing costs are $75 flat, and they can also be deducted from the loan proceeds. For all of our loans, we require an automatic debit from a business checking account. There are no penalties for prepayment, and I always tell folks, if they're thinking about these loans, one of the nice, exciting things about this is it doesn't preclude you from coming back and asking for a larger loan in the future. So this may be somewhere where you want to get started, and then down the road, think about, okay, well, maybe now I'm ready for that $35,000 or $50,000 loan. And it's the same sample loan uses: lease space, furniture and equipment, working capital, anything you can really think of that goes with our larger loans would also be true for this credit builder loan. So what's our eligibility criteria? I think it's important to note that once everything is submitted and approved, it then goes to review by our loan committee. And our loan committee is made up of local volunteers that are bankers, financiers, business lenders, business leaders, sorry, in our area that review all of the applications and for the same criteria, which are they really look at your business plan. They want to see a thorough business plan and a fully formed idea for your business. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into the business planning section. If you have experience in the field, that is also helpful. It's very helpful if you include your resume, either as an addendum to the business plan or separately, especially if you can show you want to open up a salon and you can show that you've had 20 years in the business already, or you want to start a trucking business and you've actually been a bus driver for 5 years. Different things like that can really strengthen your application. The strength of your cash flow overall, which Nick will talk about, things that we're looking for are like steadily increasing income over time, that you have thoroughly considered your expenses, that your numbers are realistic and not too bullish. Nick will talk all about that. The strength of your collateral. So as I said, we will consider all different types of collateral, but equity in real estate and vehicles is definitely a stronger collateral. But we'll consider things like equipment and inventory. And it can also be something like that you're buying. So for example, as in the trucking example I just gave, if you're purchasing a truck to do deliveries with, that truck can be considered collateral for your loan. So definitely talk to us if you have any concerns about your collateral at all. Reasonable credit. So we get asked this question quite a bit of, do we have a minimum credit score that we are working from? And for some CDFIs, that is true. They do have a minimum credit score, but for us, that's not true. We are looking for credit that's good and consistent, especially for the last 12 months. You cannot have had any bankruptcies in the last 2 years, or let me say no discharged bankruptcies in the last 2 years. And if you have any tax debt, you need to have a documented repayment plan. And if you need help figuring out how to do that, we can definitely assist you with that. And just a little bit more about the credit score. So for example, if your score was a 525, but now it's a 610, that 610 is a great credit score for you because you've really worked hard to build and bring it up. However, if you have a 610 and it's showing you don't pay your bills because you went to Disney World 3 times last year and just decided not to pay anything, then that's a different discussion that we're going to have with you. We definitely consider everybody's individual situation. And because things happen, right? Divorce happens, illness happens. And if there's anything on your credit report that needs further explanation, we will work with you to craft an explanation of credit for the loan committee so that they fully understand your entire position. The loan committee also looks at the general economic conditions for the venture. So for example, if you are wanting to locate your pizza business on the same street with 10 other pizza businesses, you're going to really have to explain and demonstrate how your pizza business is going to thrive in that type of environment. And then your ability to repay the loan. One of the things we looked at is Nick and I will frequently say, don't quit your day job. You might want to consider keeping your current position if you have one for a period of time until your business is really ready to be on its own and you're able to pay yourself a living wage. And then, so with that, I would like to turn it over to Nick to talk a little bit more about our application documents and that process.
Thank you very much. So, one question we often get is, what does it take? How much work is it to get a loan from MCE? And the truth is, to get a business loan, it takes a fair amount of work, and it also takes a fair amount of time. This is not something that you're going to be able to say, I need $35,000 in 2 weeks. That's more something like I need $35,000 in 2 or 3 months. So it's important that you set your expectations that this will take a little bit of time. And even once it's turned in, as you'll see in a bit, it takes a little bit to get a decision. So there are a few required documents that are required for all of our loans. The first one is an intake form. Those can be found on our home pages of our website. There'll be a button usually on the top right-hand side where you can click to fill out that intake form. That does two things. It allows us to know that you're interested in help so that we can reach out to you. And then it also gives us the ability to know a little bit about your business before we talk to you so we can provide the best service. We also require a business loan application. That's the same for all of these loans that we've discussed today. You're going to talk about when your business started, what exactly you do, any assets or liabilities that you have. On that application, you're going to see a checklist of required documents, but some of them you might not have. If you are a startup, you're of course not going to have a profit and loss statement or business tax returns, and that is a-okay. Just give us what you absolutely do have with that. We also require a personal information supplement. That is something that can also be downloaded from our website. And that is where you're talking about your own personal history. So where you're employed, contact information, your assets and liabilities. Do you have student loans, a car payment, a mortgage payment, things like that? And then your monthly expenses. You fill those out, and then we also require a couple of forms of supporting documents. Number one is your business plan. So if you are applying for the larger loan for $5,000 to $150,000, we are going to need a fully, or actually $5,001 to $150,000. We're going to need a fully flushed out business plan, which Donna will go over in just a moment. If you are applying for the credit builder loan, well, of course, we'd love to see a fully fleshed out business plan. We will accept a business synopsis, which is basically an executive summary and an explanation of what you're going to do with the funds and why they're needed. With the cash flow projections, and I'll be going over how to do these towards the end of this presentation, we're going to require 24 months for the new business and expanding business loans and only 12 months for the credit builder. However, if the credit builder gives us 24 months, that's going to give them a better chance at a yes. There are other documents, as I discussed, the profit and loss statement. If you've been around long enough to have one, we'd like to see it. If you have a quarterly balance sheet, we're going to want to see that. The business tax returns. Now, what is required is the personal tax returns. We are going to need to see 2 years of personal tax returns for anybody who owns 20% or more of the business. Sometimes people file their business tax returns on their personal returns, and that is absolutely a-okay with us. As long as we can get that information, we're happy to have it. We do require 3 months of personal bank statements. You can just download them from your bank's website and send them over to us. And the rest of the stuff is really optional. So one thing that's really helpful is reference letters. So if you have a mentor, a teacher, an old boss, or somebody like that, it can give you a reference letter. That's great. But what's also impactful is, well, go back to Donna's salon example. If you've had a chair at a salon for a number of years, and you decide you're going to open up your own, and you come to us with a stack of 30 letters from clients of yours saying, as soon as she opens up her shop, I'm moving over to hers, that's going to give our loan committee some confidence that you're going to hit the ground running and be able to pay back that loan. Also send in anything else that is relevant. If you have a proposed lease or a signed lease, we'd love to see that. Estimates for any equipment or any build out that you're purchasing. Invoices, contracts, licenses, marketing materials, pictures of your website. Do you have a YouTube channel? Show us that. TikTok, any of that stuff that's going to help tell your story, give it to us, and we'll make sure the loan committee sees it so they see everything that you're doing for your business. Next slide, please, Donna. All righty. So how do you, once you get all this stuff in, how do you get the loan? So the way it works is that under normal circumstances, we are going to accept applications up until the first Friday of the month. Circumstances where we might change that is, of course, if there's a holiday that sort of messes things up, or let's say that the first Friday is the first second of the month, we give a few days of leniency there. In the fourth week of the month, the loan committee meets. It's good to know that we have 2 separate loan committees, one down on the Eastern Shore and one in Baltimore, and they handle the loans for their own regions because the economy is a little bit different in each. But by the end of that week, 4th week, you're going to get either a yes, a no, or a we need a little bit more information. If it's a yes, then we can usually close in 2 to 4 weeks. It is good to know that if you're using a home or real estate as your collateral, you will be required to provide an appraisal that is 12 months old or newer. And if you don't have one, you will have to get one at your own expense. Next slide, please. So now we're going to hand it over to Donna. This plan, especially when you're looking for a loan. But before that, are there any questions from anybody? All righty, Donna, take it away.
Okay. Well, first of all, I would really, why is this not moving? Hold on, I'm not, there we go. Sorry about that, everybody. It took me a second to get that to work. I am really hoping to demystify the business plan process for you a little bit. It's my absolute favorite thing to do about my job. And I'll talk a little bit more about why that is. And we at least I want to give you a general idea of what goes into a business plan, but also remind you that we have the business plan template on our website, or we can email it to you. Don't hesitate to contact either one of us. And what's nice about it is that we will work with you one-on-one to get the business plan exactly where you need it to be in order to A, move forward with a loan with us, or B, to just have the business plan, or C, get a loan with another organization. You do not have to, just because you're getting a business plan with us does not mean you have to apply for a loan with us, and vice versa. Some people come with a business plan already together for the most part. And so you definitely, the business plan is in and of itself is a resource that we have available for you. So really, who needs a business plan, right? Well, one of the important things we say is, it is a plan. So, right, it's going to describe where you're going and how you're going to get there. And what's nice about it is that as a business owner and as a leader, you can have this document in front of you and really take a look at what you're doing, have measurable outcomes, and really determine what kind of progress you're making as a business owner. And more importantly, what changes that you need to make as you go along, because nothing is ever written in stone, right? This is here to give you an idea of your best guess at this point in time, what your business is going to look like moving forward. Now, for loan and grant applicants, they need the business plan. And I will say this, any small business administration approved lender will need to see a business plan. So if they're not asking for a business plan, you really want to question if they are legit. So any small business administration approved lender will need that business plan. And they use that business plan to determine the level of risk moving into the loan. They want to see that you understand your business and that you've got a well thought out, well-rounded plan for any obstacles that you might foresee in the future, and how you're going to work out your business and make things profitable. So I think it's really is an essential part to the loan and grant process as well. Okay, so what should a business plan contain? First of all, let me say that once you look at our business plan template, it can be overwhelming. There are a lot of questions listed there. You do not have to answer every question listed verbatim. They are there simply to get you thinking about what you could include in each section. It really should overall describe your business, but most importantly, what makes your business special, and that you can clearly understand your competition and your industry. Do not be afraid to let your passion show. So I always tell folks, especially in the executive summary, which I'll explain in a moment, tell your story. Your business plan should really tell a little bit of a story. What do you love about your business? What are you excited about for your business? How did you get there? Did you start out maybe 10 years ago, you and your brother had a table at a flea market selling computer equipment, and now you want to open up a computer repair shop? tell your story so that the lenders can really understand what brought you here and what you're looking to achieve. And definitely consider your audience. It really should be like a resume, right? So when you're creating a resume, you definitely think about tweaking it depending on who you're sending it into. So for one job, you may highlight certain things, and for a different job, you might highlight, for example, one case your education, and the next case your work experience. The same thing is the same rule for your business plan. You will want to tweak it depending on who you're submitting it to and for what purpose. Overall, though, you always want to make sure that your business plan is realistic. And for me, I also want to point out too that it should definitely include data. We always ask that all of our business plans include data that demonstrate your understanding of the industry and how your business fits into that industry and why you think your business will be successful. That data can be found on the internet or in trade journals, for example. And you need to include not just the data, but you need to cite your sources, just like you would if, say, you were writing a college paper. And so the data is also a very important component when you're considering your audience as well. So you start out your business plan with your executive summary. And some folks like to write the executive summary at the last part of their business plan because it's a summary of what your entire business plan contains. So really, it's a snapshot, or we have here your elevator speech about who your business, what you do, what your name is, where you're located, how much money you need, what you're going to spend it on, and then your passion, right? What I just talked about. You're going to give a snapshot of how you got there, what you love about your business. All of these things you're going to briefly describe at the very beginning of your business plan. It can literally start out like, my name is Donna Langley, and I own my best friend's boutique in the exact location, the exact address location that it's located in. And I am seeking $35,000 to pay for build out of my new business, my new space that I'm expanding to over the next year. It can literally say, it can start out with that sentence, and then you set the tone for the rest of the business plan. The reader will know what to look for. And that's something you really need to consider, is who the reader is, that they do not understand everything about your industry, especially any lingo you will want to define it. You'll need to include a marketing plan. And key aspects of that are especially your customer base, defining who your target customer is and really honing down on what that definition is. So it would be, you're saying that your target customer is all women in Maryland would not be as strong as saying women ages 17 to 45 who make at least $50,000 a year and are looking to expand their education. So really thinking about the different ways that you can tease that out. And that's something that definitely any of the staff here can help you do. You'll also want to talk about your competition. Another requirement of ours is that you include information on at least 3 competitors. So we had a client that has a comic book shop. And so for their competitors, they listed 2 other comic book shops nearby them, and then also Amazon, because Amazon sells comic books. So you never want to say that you don't have any competition, because you usually do. It may not be the exact same thing that you supply, but it could be similar. So in that case, you'll want to use any competition that's similar to you. And again, this is something that you can work with staff to help you define, and you'll want to include how they're competitive with you. So for example, their location in geographic relation to yours, number of staff, services they offer, geographic location they cover. Think the size of their overall marketing budget. How do they compete with you? You're going to list that out in this section. And you really want to also explain what your competitive edge is in relation to your competition. What is going to make me as a customer want to come to your store or your business instead of your competition? That is key, explaining that in this section. Okay. You'll also want to discuss how your business will operate. Again, I said your location, the legal form. Are you an LLC? Are you a sole proprietorship? And management structure and any key employees. And I think it's always good if you have any key employees. So for example, if you have a beauty supply store and you have an overall manager for the store, it is good to list out information in your business plan about that manager, who they are, maybe how long they've worked in the industry, what they bring to your business, and maybe think about including their resume as an addendum to the business plan. So that they can really be highlighted and you can showcase how they're going to be value added to your business. If you have any required licensure or certifications for your business, you will want to mention that in your business plan and include a copy of those in your addendum. So for example, if you're a truck driver, it may be your CDL license or something of that nature. If you're a medical business of any kind, you may have different certifications that you're required to have for that. You'll want to include that in your business plan. Most importantly, right now, you'll want to include a COVID-19 plan. And while that is lifting somewhat, we're still looking for some thought to be given to what would occur if COVID-19 came back, as it's not currently, slated to do, but what if it comes back? What would be your contingency plan if that were to happen? And then your financial plan. As I said, you'll need to make the ask in your business plan, and don't be afraid to do it. That's what we're looking for. We want to know, how much money does this person need and how will they use it? So don't be afraid to say it right off in your executive summary, what you're asking for, and then you'll want to go into more detail in the financial part of it. You'll need to discuss, for example, if you need 50,000 and you're asking us for 35,000, how that 35,000 will assist you and where you're getting the remaining $15,000 from. How much money of your own have you already invested in your business? We always look for this because we want to see that you have some skin in the game. And also your cash flow projections, which Nick is going to talk about in more detail. This will help you estimate your income over the next several years and your expenses, and that they're realistic and that you've fully thought those out. Any questions so far about a business plan? Okay, overall, just think about how it makes your business uniquely your business and really get that across. Anything else we can assist you with. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Nick to talk about cash flow projections, as they are a very important component to the loan application process.
Well, thank you very much, Donna. So as you said, the cash flows is sort of the second most important document that the loan committees are going to be looking for. So, what are they and why do we need them? Basically, what they are is they're a best educated guess from a business owner of what they are going to do financially for the term of the cash flow projection. So in our world, we'll say 24 months. So you want to see how much the startup is going to cost, what the monthly expenses are, and if you're going to make enough money to cover all of that and ensure that you can pay yourself and live a nice quality of life. So next slide, please. So that's basically what I just said. So we will go ahead and jump on to the next one too. Sorry about that. So this is what our cash flow document looks like. And a bit we're going to go through and do a little example of one, but we do not require that cash flow projections be sent to us in this format. As long as they're broken down monthly and we can see what your cash position is at the end of each month and what your expenses are broken down as well as your income, we'll be good to go. So important things to know. This is a living document. It will change over the life of the business, and the projections that you give to us will not only be not 100% accurate, The odds are the majority of the fields that you fill out will not be accurate, and that is okay. Now, when we say we want to see a realistic and not too bullish cash flow, what it means is we want to see that in sort of an almost worst case scenario, that you're going to be able to have a business that sustains and thrives. So one example I like to give is that we had a person come in and say, I make handmade wedding invitations. I make $1,000 per wedding. There are 10,000 weddings a year in Maryland. I'm going to make $10 million a year. Well, there's no way a one-person shop is going to do all that work. Not all weddings have invitations. People make their own. People aren't looking to spend that much. So we told this person is, show us that you can succeed doing 10 or 15 weddings a month. And if you can doing that, then if you get all 10,000, then that's just some extra gravy for you. But we want to see in sort of that more realistic world that you're going to be able to do okay. You also want to break down your income streams. So that way you'll be able to understand a little bit more about sort of where your money is coming, what parts of your business are not as successful, and what parts of your business are really thriving. So if you've got a restaurant, you want to break it up in between, maybe dine-in, carry-out, beverage, alcohol, catering. Are you big enough that you've got merch? You want to see what all of those are. Because if something is doing poorly, you can either, pump it up or decide to get rid of it so that you can spend your energy on the stuff that's making money. We also want to see that in your expenses. We want that broken out in a lot of detail, and we want to see that you're thinking ahead and that you're spending your money wisely. We want to see that you have reserve for accounting, for marketing and advertising, for insurance, for legal fees, and to make sure that you've got enough to pay your taxes. You also want to start thinking about, are you the type of business that sort of does the same amount of business year round? Or do you get busier in the summer months or maybe around the holidays? And then you can use that to show how your business is going to ebb and flow. While you may lose money some months, you'll make a whole lot more on other months. And again, are you paying yourself? We are concerned that you're going to be able to survive and have a comfortable lifestyle. So next slide, please. All right, so why do you need to have them? So first and most importantly, I say is it's a planning tool. So it gives you an idea of, go back one more, it gives you an idea of what you're going to need to do to be successful. But it's also going to be required for any SBA or CDFI loans. And really, you're going to need to show this for any loan you're going to go after. It also will show you the difference between the amount of money you net and the amount of money you gross. And then it's also just good governance. It gives you an opportunity to look back every month or so and make sure you're doing well. And it also shows you when you can take that owner's withdrawal. Next slide, please. So how do you get started? So next slide, please. Well, the first thing you're going to need to do is gather a few things. Number one, a template that you feel comfortable using. Number two, you need to know how much you have in the bank for your business. It's good to know that a number of our folks start off with $0. So if you have $0 in the bank for your business, don't be too scared. We're going to want to know what your income or your projected income is going to be. We are not experts on your business type, so you need to do the research and figure out what you think you're going to make a month as you grow. Same thing with expenses. Are you going to be doing all the work yourself? Are you going to have payroll? Are you home-based or will you have rent? Things like that. And then you also want to make sure that you have your loan coming in as income in month one and your loan payments coming out as expenses in month two. So the other thing you want to know is if you're selling something, what the percentage of the markup is, what your product cost is. And we'll go over that a little bit when we do our cash flow projections. Next slide, please. All right, so Donna, go ahead and please stop sharing your screen, and I'm going to bring up a blank cash flow form, and we're going to make up a fake company called Nick's Dill Pickles, and we're going to see if we can make some money doing that. All righty, so the first thing you will see on your cash flow is that there are dates at the top. There are two things you can do with these dates. Number one, you can just go in and change the first month, and we'll make that May. And then it'll just move everything else appropriately. or you can just sort of ignore the dates and think of them as month 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 12. So what I say that to say that even though we're in April, we're going to want to see all 12 columns filled out here. So my business is Nick Still Pickles. So you're going to put your business title right here. And I, got lucky. I hit a scratch off and I got $1,000 in the bank to start my business. So I haven't really started yet. So in my first month, I'm not going to have any income whatsoever. But ideally, I'm going to sell my pickles in 3 ways. Number 1, online, because that's the way I can start off doing it from my home. Number 2, at farmers markets. I want to start slow and then maybe build to doing 2 in Baltimore City, both Waverly and the market that they have downtown. And then wholesale. Will I be able to get restaurants or maybe local grocery store chains to pick up my products? So to get started, I think I need about a $10,000 loan. So I'm going to put, think positive and say I'm going to get that loan in month 1. And as you'll see, I've got $11,000 to start off with. So there are a few things that we want to talk about. Inventory. So what I do is I set this up, and you'll see up here as a formula where it adds up these 3 columns, so what you're making in each of these, and then multiplies it by 30% because it costs 30 cents on the dollar to make these pickles. And as you see right now, that's $0 because I'm not selling any pickles. And then you go down, you've got your payroll. If you have employees, you need to put that in there. If you're paying yourself as an employee, you put that there. And the payroll expenses, again, I just set up a formula so that it's about 10% of my payroll. So outside services, if you are a business that's having its own space, you may need to pay for trash and things like that. Office supplies are self-explanatory. Subscriptions and dues if you are, get any publications or members of any groups. We have a miscellaneous that you can change to anything. Talk about your amount of money you're going to spend advertising, the amount of money you're going to get for distributing your product if you're selling it, how much money you're reserving for accounting, legal, rent. Now, rent is important. If you have a home-based business and you have a home office, you cannot use these funds to pay rent towards your mortgage or your utilities. If you have your own space on a different property, you're opening up a restaurant, then you absolutely can use those funds. Telephone, again, if you have a separate line for your business, you can use that as a business expense. Utilities, if you're paying those outside of the home, you can use that as well. Insurance, you'll talk to an insurance agent and know about what it costs for your business. If you have any taxes and licenses or professional fees that you need, those are sort of your variable expenses. Then below the subtotal is going to be your expenses that are not variable. These are the ones that are going to be the same every single month and every single year. And then here at the end, we've got 2 columns for a reserve or escrow in case you want to save a little bit of money and an owner's withdrawal. So very quickly, we're going to go ahead and do month 1 and then show how you explain that, actually month 2, and show how you explain that you can make some money. So we're just starting off. So we've got $1,000 in online sales. We got a couple weeks at the Waverly Farmers Market. We're brand new. We're not going to do too well. So maybe we'll sell $250 a week and make $500. And we're not ready for wholesale yet. So then we start thinking about expenses, right? So out of that $1,500, $450 is actually spent on making the pickles. Gross wages are nothing because I'm doing this on my own. I've got a daytime job, so I'm not going to pay myself just yet. Don't really have any outside services. I'm going to talk about the space I'm going to rent in a moment. Now, office supplies, as you start off, you'll probably have an expense for that. So I'll put that in month 1 and say we got about $200 to get us through the year for that. Don't have any subscriptions or dues. I do not subscribe to Pickle Magazine. No miscellaneous right now. Now, advertising, I want to get the word out on social media. So let's say $50 is what I'll spend on that. Distribution, right now, I'm driving those pickles around. So gas is expensive. That's going to cost me a lot of money. So let's say $200. Accounting, I want to have an accounting reserve so at the end of the year, I can pay somebody to look over my taxes. So I'll save $25 a month. And again, for legal, the $25 a month is just in case we need to use it. Now for rent, because I need to make these pickles before I can sell them, I found a space in Southeast Baltimore that has a commercial kitchen that you can rent out. And if you rent it out in the evenings, 7 p.m. to midnight, it's only $500 a month, all in with all your utilities and everything like that included. Since I have a day job and it takes me about 2 hours a day to make pickles, it's perfect for me. So we're going to do $500 a month for rent. I am going to have a telephone for my business. So it's going to be on the same plan that I have now. So it's only costing me $25 a month to add that in. Again, no utilities. Insurance is about $600 a year for my type of business. So I'm just going to say $50 a month, and no taxes or licensing fees right now. Now the loan payment on a $10,000 loan at 8% interest, which is the highest it would most likely be, at 3 years, which would be the shortest it would most likely be, is $313.36. Don't need any training or certifications, but we do need some startup costs. What was that $10,000 buying? And what it was buying was all the stuff I need to pickle and to can my first couple of batches, or jar my first couple of batches of dill pickles. And that's going to run me $5,000. And then we've got the escrow and owner's withdrawal is something we can worry about if we see that we're making a profit. So then we're going to go here and we're going to see what of these expenses are going to change month to month and what are going to stay the same. And just to save some time here, with this business, they're all going to stay the same. So we're just going to go ahead and copy this across as expenses for the entire year. And that way we know, we're spending how much we're spending each month. And you'll see that we have a higher cost in this month because we've got inventory in there, and it's not here yet for these other months. So then we're going to go and see how our business is going to grow. So, let's say our online sales are going to steadily pick up. Let's move it up. Sorry about that. $250 a month until people start thinking about the holidays, and then maybe it'll go up a bit more. Maybe up to $2,500 a month through the holidays, and people are broke in January, so we're going to go back down to $1,250. People are not buying people pickles for Valentine's Day, so we're going to keep that at $1,250. But now March, the farmers markets start opening up again, so they see us there and they buy us online. Our advertising is working, so we're jumping back up, and then back by April, we're back up to $1,750 a month. Farmers markets, the first couple of months, we're really not going to make a whole lot. It's just going to be me working there. But then I'm going to get a crew so that I can send somebody to a second farmers market and we can make more money. So that's going to go up to double the next month. September, it's beautiful. People are really going out to farmers markets. So we're even going to go a little bit more. October, the fall veggies are in. People are still loving their pickles. So we'll go ahead and leave that the same. November, December, people are thinking about holiday presents. So we're going to go up a little bit. Both markets are still open at this point in time. But in January, it's only the Waverly market and it's not as busy. So we'll say, maybe $500 a month there until the weather starts to pick up. And then you'll see we can jump back up. Now for wholesale to restaurants, the first few months, I'm not going to have time for that. But let's say in September, when I start, have a second month of people going to the farmers markets for me, I can start focusing on that. So, maybe $500 the first month, and then just add $250 a month as a goal as we pick up a new restaurant each month. All righty. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at if we are making enough money to survive. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some employees once we start getting those larger, those double farmers markets. And, they don't really, they're $15 an hour. It's not all day. So $300 a month is what they're going to make. And then you'll see that it does the math for you for the payroll expenses, because we're just pretending that we are doing them as payroll. And then if you scroll down, you will see exactly how much we're spending each month. Then we're going to add the loan payment all the way across, since that's not going to change. And then we can go down to the bottom and see how we're doing as a business. And it looks like we're doing pretty well. So you'll see that, at the end of the first month, we have no income coming in. We've made a lot of expenses, but we've got $5,000 to start off month 2. And we're going to need it because in month 2, we're not that popular yet, and we're losing a little bit of money. It's close to breaking even, but it's not quite there yet. And then you will see sort of a little bit of a growth month after month after month. And then you'll see at the end of the year, we're going to start off with, we're going to have $22,033. And since we started off with $10,000 as a loan and $1,000 in the bank, we've made $11,000. We've doubled our investment in that first year, and that is great. Now, I'm going to choose to not use any of that as an owner's withdrawal. So all you need to do is take that number, 2203, and change these months at the top again, and then start entering your numbers in year 2. As you're applying for these loans, I know this can be intimidating. We are more than happy to work with you, do these on a Zoom with you, help you knock out your first year. We'd love to do that for you. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this now.
Nick,
Donna,
that
would
number
you
is a little
mind?
bit off.
Oh, is it 33?
Yeah, I just want to make sure it needs to match.
There you go. There you go. So you're making sure it's matching. So there we go. So I'll stop this share. Donna, if you wouldn't mind pulling up the PowerPoint, and I'll go ahead and finish up. So I see one question on here while she's getting that up. Is it okay if your experience does not relate to your business? Yes, absolutely. So we'll look at transferable skills, or if you have mentors that are helping you out. That's the type of stuff we want to see. So a few more cash flow things that are important to consider. Remember to bring that year-end number up to the second year. Make sure that you're paying yourself enough, or that you have a job, but you're not paying yourself too much that your business suffers. You want to make sure that you've got those accountants and legal fees in there. You want to be careful if your negative cash flow is going longer than 8 to 12 months. You want to make sure, again, that you've got that loan and loan payment in there, and you want to be careful on realistic expectations. Next slide, please. And Donna, I'll hand it over to you to wrap everything up.
Okay, great. Thanks, Nick. So as I said at the beginning, and Lisa also said, that we have free webinars all of the time. And these are some of our upcoming ones that we're very, very excited about. I especially want to point out the SBA General Information Session on May 4th. You can register for any of these webinars and find out more information if you go to either one of our websites, either marylandcapital.org or the Women's Business Center at marylandcapital.org. And we're very excited about all of our webinars that we have coming up. And let me just say something about the e-commerce with Jessica. Jessica is a fantastic speaker. So if you can get to that one, I would highly recommend it, as I highly recommend her as a speaker. She's fantastic. I know Lisa will back me up on that one.
Yes,
So,
she is awesome.
okay.
This is a reminder.
We have another question. Will the cash flow workbook be included in the slide deck?
So absolutely. And if you email me directly, I will send you a blank one and the one that we completed today.
Oops. And with that, I think if we have any other questions, we'd love to entertain those. And please, our contact information is also listed on the slides. Do not hesitate to contact either one of us, or really any staff member at MCE.
Wonderful. I don't
Any
see
other
anything else. Just a comment in the chat. We say thank you and want to view your webinar to get a sense of your program so we can refer future businesses to us. Woo-hoo, thank you.
Great.
Well, thank you,
Okay.
Nick and Donna. You did a great job. Thank you for joining us
Thank you.
today, everybody. And we appreciate you, and hope we'll see you on the next one.
Yes.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.